This is a 4-minute 46-second full-motion video with infrared imaging, presented here as an isolated clip attributed to a United States military platform operating in the Central Command Area of Responsibility in 2021. The footage was uploaded to a classified network in June 2024 and later made public on May 22, 2026 under the Pursue release from the Department of War. ARRO identified this item among a collection of materials that congressional representatives requested access to in March 2026, and ARRO notes that many items in that collection lack a substantiated chain of custody. Visually, the clip begins with the sensor operating in a mode that emphasizes thermal contrast. An area of contrast appears from the upper right of the frame and moves across the scene toward the lower right. The platform's sensor then pans to follow that area of contrast, keeping it close to the center of the screen for an extended interval. Over the final portion of the clip, the sensor changes modes, and the feature becomes less distinct against the background as sensitivity and contrast settings shift. The imagery is consistent with a single object or area of differing radiative signature passing through the sensor field of view, while the camera tracks to maintain it near center. There are no clear identifying markings visible in the infrared presentation, and the object's outline becomes difficult to separate from background clutter once the sensor switches modes. Because the clip is infrared-based, visual color and surface detail are not available for identification. Context matters for interpreting what is shown. According to the accompanying archive note, ARRO assesses the clip is likely derived from a full-motion video camera and an infrared sensor aboard a United States military platform in the CENTCOM area of responsibility during 2021. The uploader supplied title references is Spherical UAP and a call sign, and the file was placed on a classified network in mid-2024. These provenance details are part of the record, but ARRO also cautions that many items found on that network do not have a clear, documented chain of custody, which limits what can be concluded from a single clip. Technically, the sequence demonstrates a target entering the frame, steady tracking by the gimbaled sensor, and then a change in sensor mode that reduces contrast and makes the target indistinct. Those are the observable behaviors in the video itself. Absent corroborating data, such as radar tracks, maintenance logs, or sensor metadata preserved with an unbroken chain of custody, the clip alone cannot establish the target's origin, propulsion, or intent. When investigators and analysts discuss items like this, they look for multiple data streams: electro-optical and infrared imagery matched to radar and platform telemetry, operator logs that show sensor settings, and a clean record of how the file moved from the aircraft to archival storage. The archive note attached to this material flags gaps in that chain for many files in the collection, so the proper analytical posture is caution. The image is interesting as recorded evidence, but it is not by itself a conclusive identification. For viewers watching closely, key features to note are the sustained tracking by the sensor, the entry and exit path across the frame, and the loss of contrast when the sensor changes modes. Those observable facts are what the footage shows without interpretation. Officials involved in the release emphasize that descriptive notes are informational only and do not represent an investigatory conclusion about the event's validity or significance. This clip was included in a broader set of materials identified after a congressional request for possibly relevant records, and it sits inside an archive that the Department of War and ARRO have cataloged for public review. The preserved clip can be studied in parallel with the accompanying release materials that summarize provenance and the limitations of analysis when chain of custody is incomplete. For more detailed background, related footage, sighting reports, and a weekly UAP news podcast, visit UAPDrop.com.